there are memos given out. I know not everybody gets the memos. I get it. I didn't get the memo that he was going to pass away, per se. I just randomly started talking about the herb pack 90 days ago. It's 3 months, give or take. So it could be less than 3 months or more than 3 months from the time that the memo is given that it is seen on this side of the fence in the 3D world that we live in. And it's like, oh, you talking over people's head, or you're, I was like, listen, there's so many teachers out there that can bring you up to speed, and Panic is one of them. So definitely go check out his YouTube channel. He has over 500 videos and countless interviews and lectures on top of that. His videos are long. Like, he has 8-hour videos. Like, go listen to Panic, to catch up to what I'm talking about. All right, so now I'm going to play the audio from previously, where I'm going to talk about my case study with the herb pack. So some years ago, I was introduced to an herbal combination, and it wasn't THC. There was no drugs in it. It was an herbal combination. It was designed to activate your third eye. And so I got it for myself. I took it, and sure enough, that shit fucking did numbers. Because I told y'all, like, I pay attention to every little thing. It literally solved problems in my life without me physically having to do anything. I was getting the answers to my current situation, my current worries, or whatever it was that was going on at the time, and doors were opening, things were just making sense, problems were getting solved, things were getting fixed. And like, let's say for example, I took it on a Monday. By Thursday, the answers were already here. So it didn't happen immediately. There was no high, there was none of that, but it just, shit just started popping the fuck off. And so when you understand the power of your third eye, that shit is profound. However, I have to mention that before I even took it the first time, I was already on a certain level, because again, I've said it before, but since I was a child, I've been in tune. But I've also been pulled into the matrix, but I was always in tune. And then I will always go back to this certain level of myself where I'm questioning everything around me. And, I was evolving myself. And so by the time I took it for the very first time, I already learned all the truth about, the matrix and all of that shit. And I was already unplugging myself. I've already done the detoxes and all of that, right? So I feel like I was at a certain level of understanding when I first started taking it. And when it started to fix and correct shit in my life, I was like, I was blown back. So blown back that I didn't take it. I only took it like, maybe once every year I'll take it, because I was so blown back by how strong it affected my life. Your pineal is fresh when you're a baby. And if you allow your baby to keep their pineal open, they could be very advanced in more ways than you can even imagine. All right, I'm going to get back to the audio, but I have to interject here with a disclaimer. So the herb pack is designed to decalcify your pineal. However, in my case studies, I've realized that it's not made for everybody. And that's why when you probably won't even make it to this part of the audio, if you're not meant to make it to this part of the audio where I even talk about this. I said this before, but I say it again. When I speak about certain things, I notice that certain people just can't hear me, and they're not supposed to hear me. Some people just can't understand me because they're not supposed to understand me. Back to the audio. And so I gave some to people that I knew at the time. So let's say, because I was taking it for years, but like I said, I'll probably take it like once, maybe twice a year. Like I wouldn't take it that often because it was that strong for me. And so anyway, so I had a lot left or whatever. One time I gave some to somebody I knew. It magnified their matrix life. All right, I'm gonna get back to the audio, but I have to interject here. So with this first case study, what I noticed, he was a Waller at the time, and a big skeptic. Like, you know, they believed in the oppressor. They believed everything that they were taught in school. And so when I would talk about things about, you know, the truth or the reality of everything, they would dismiss it. And, you know, they were really caught in the matrix. And so again, this was many, many years ago. Okay. And so anyway, so when I gave it to him, what ended up happening was it was given Limitless. Y'all remember that movie Limitless? It was given Limitless. Like, he was like, I was like, who is this person? It wasn't like, it was bad because it was like, bro, like, you going in the wrong direction. It was the energy of how he was treating other people. And it was like, whoa, like, what are you doing? Like, shit, you know? And that was my fault for giving it to him, because he wasn't even like interested in the topics of any of this stuff that I'm talking about. So back to the audio. Their matrix reality, it magnified it so much. So it didn't help them evolve out of the matrix. It helped them magnify their matrix mindset, because they wasn't even evolved to a point where they even deserve to have those herbs in their life. I witnessed it firsthand. Now, this person was the kind of person that would dismiss anything that I say, because what I would say, they didn't know about. Right? But how about the same person? Because I saw this person became like a straight, like it was bad. From what I saw, it was bad. I was like, ah, shit. Like, I created a monster. Fuck. So then, this same person come to me. They're a non-believer. They come to me. They say, hey, can I have some more of that stuff? And I was like, no, you don't deserve it. And they would ask me years later, hey, do you have any more of that stuff? Because they don't know where I got it from. Hey, do you have any more of that stuff? And I would just laugh it off, because it was that profound to them. It was that profound to them. They want more of that. They want more doors to open for them. But it turned that person into a monster. They wasn't ready for that. That was person number one. That was friend number one. All right, I'm going to get back to the audio, but I have to interject here. I already made like several posts about universal consciousness, but we're all connected. We are all connected. Humans are connected to each other, and we're connected to universal consciousness. And that's why, like, we all get like the same memos, or we get the same downloads, and we get the same information, because we're connected. So again, like, I'll be going like in 5 different directions. I have another audio about universal consciousness. I've talked about that several times already, but we're all connected. So it's not a situation where I'm saying like I'm above anything, but there are levels to your evolution, and it's just the nature of the beast. And because we are in a construct of this oppressive system, there needs to be deprogramming before you're able to get the benefits from this. Because again, I've seen people going back in the opposite direction when they've been exposed to this. All right, back to the audio. Friend number 2 did the same thing. Friend number 2. I would always do it, and I would do it as an experiment, because sometimes I need to see things more than once. So I would do it as an experiment. So just with friend number 2, again, it was an experiment. I knew this person was like talking, beginner level of awakening. And I was like, all right, cool. Let me see how it affects this person. So let me just explain that real quick. When I say beginner level of awakening, you got to understand there are levels to this awakening process. So you have people that are, still focused on, decoding the matrix, decoding real, true world history, and realizing that they've been lied to, realize they've been oppressed and all of that. That's like beginner level stuff. They wasn't in denial like the first person. And I remember very strongly when I met this person, they were like just divulging like all this information. They was just like, yeah, this is what's really going on in the world. And I was like, yep, yep, because I already knew everything they was talking about, right? So I was just like playing along, like, yeah. And so then I started dropping some stuff, and they was like, what the fuck? And I was like, yeah, man. And then so I'm dropping shit, telling them all this, whatever. So how about this person would take the stuff that I was teaching, and it's okay, but they'll take the stuff that I was teaching and they'll try to claim it as stuff that they found out on their own, or like it was knowledge that they just knew. But essentially they were getting it from me. Needless to say, whatever. But going back to when I first gave this person the herbs, I was like, let me give them the herbs or whatever. So I gave them the herbs to see how it'll affect them. And same thing happened. It magnified where they were currently at that particular time. It didn't evolve them at all. All right, I'm going to get back to the audio, but I have to interject here. It's like this. This is the pattern I caught. Like for example, if your thought process, if your mind is on mundane stuff, or if your mind is like, show me how to get away with stuff. Like that's what you're trying to figure out. Whatever problem is you're trying to solve in your life, it's going to help you solve it. It's going to give you like the know-with-all on how to do it. And so with the second person, it was the same thing. It was like it amplified their toxic traits. And again, it was how they were behaving, how they were trying to get away with stuff. It made them smarter in that regard. It didn't bring them closer to, expanding their knowledge and expanding their connection with their spiritual self. It took them in a direction of, how can I be more toxic? It showed itself in the 3D sense with how they treated other people. And I was like, this is not helping this person. It's actually hurting other people, and they're hurting themselves. So it's amplifying a portion of them that is not benefiting them. And so that's where it goes back to what I was saying, where I said this stuff needs to find you. You can't be out here giving this stuff to people that not qualified to have it. If you listen to panic, you're already on that spectrum. You're already over there. You're not a waller. You're already over there. You already made it to that part of your journey. So it found you, right? So if it found you, then that means you're ready for it. Me giving it to people, or me going telling people about it that wasn't ready for it, this is what happens. But again, if you are on this level and you already in the building, and you find out about it and you like, let me go try it, you're going to have a different result. I have a third person I gave it to, and I gave it to one of my relatives, and she was already like on this journey, but she couldn't handle it. And I'm going to give you a little bit of tidbit about her background. Now, this ties back into, and that's why I say this shit is situational. It's situational. Okay. But her situation was that, and is that she's like in a position in her life where she's refusing to learn her lessons. She's refusing to make moves in her life. So she's choosing, because again, you have free will. If you have a controller in your hand, you got free will. She's been choosing to do this for a very, very long time. I'm talking decades. And so she has experiences and she's in tune with this information, but she took it and she said that it bothered her to a point where she wanted to keep taking it, but she just couldn't take it. And I feel like with her, she couldn't handle it because she's not in the flow of her life. She's not in the flow with the universe. Like, she's supposed to be on a plight. And that goes back to what I've been I be saying, whatever. I say it so many times. But you're here to learn lessons. You're here for a reason. Specifically for those who have a controller in their hand. NPCs will not understand this. If you have a controller in your hand, you are supposed to be, passing your tests and paying attention to your lessons. You have to be willing to go with the flow of the universe. You have to be willing to go with the flow. And so when I say open doors, I'm not saying like it's bringing something outside of you into your life. Like, no, it's like you become more aware. You become more involved in your life. Like, man, it's like hard to explain. And everybody has different experiences too, by the way. Some people have like more lucid dreams and they have all kinds of stuff going on. So it affects different people differently. Fourth person I gave it to was already on the same level as another relative of mine, already very close on the same level as me. And, I don't really know because I didn't really talk to them about things, but I know it helped them because I can see how it helped them because they continue to advance and evolve. The end result of the case study is that I've realized that it's not for everybody. And again, this stuff needs to find you and not you giving it to other people. All right, back to the audio. So I'm saying all this to say that same thing applies to THC. If you take THC and you're not evolved, you're not going to get any evolution out of it, positive information, or easier downloads. You're not going to get the benefits of evolution, further evolution, or like I said, like just downloads, ideas, understanding, just overall knowledge, wisdom. You're not going to get that because you're still stuck in the matrix. You still got, shackles on you. You can't fly. So that's why I know that you have to be at a certain level of your evolution before these things can actually benefit you. Now, mind you, in the past, there was no such thing as, these particular level of lies that we are living under right now. These level of lies didn't exist back then. So because these level of lies didn't exist back then, there was not any reprogramming necessary. So could you imagine, like, since you were a kid, there was nothing that you needed to be reprogrammed on because you was taught the truth from Jump Street and you were given the tools to fly. And when I say fly, I'm talking about spiritually. You know what I'm saying? You was given the information to understand where you truly live. But I always talk about it, going back to what I was talking about, evolution of self. Before you introduce any of those substances into your world, you have to get to a certain level of deprogramming yourself. You got to get to a certain level of understanding, a certain level of wisdom, because wisdom is what? Wisdom is knowledge applied to your life. So as you learn stuff, you don't just learn it and just retain information and just regurgitate it to sound smart. You apply it to your day-to-day. You apply it to your life. So as you apply what you learned to your life, that creates wisdom, right? So once you get to a certain level of evolution, then it's okay for you to introduce some of these herbs into your life, because again, you'll be a little bit more pure. You'll be a little bit more ready for it. Again, I don't like the people talk, but it's not their fault. It's because they were indoctrinated and don't know that they're indoctrinated. It's a step-by-step process that the humans are going to have to do in order for them to get to even the lowest levels of readiness of evolution. It's so much fucktottery, but it's unraveling, if I need to say that. I mean, you can clearly see it, but like I had said before in my other video, it'll take about a good 60, 70 years. It's not going to happen overnight, but to focus on Wallers is not my point. I don't focus on Wallers because, again, it's going to take generations for that to be deprogrammed. But good thing is that there's enough of, modern day adults who have already evolved or trying to evolve. Like I said, there's 3 different types of people here, right? You have the Wallers, the people that have walked away from the wall, and the people that are in between who don't know which way to go. They know that the wall exists and they know that there's another world, but they don't know where to go and they don't know what to do. So you have 3 different types of people right now. Wallers are the people that's trapped in the matrix, and they're comfortable there, and unless their oppressors tell them anything, they don't listen. So you got to leave Wallers where they be. Wallers will eventually peel back when they feel that the majority has peeled back, because Wallers are followers. And so followers are people who don't think for themselves. Okay. But then you have, like I said, the people that's in between. And, we've all kind of been there, because it's just nature of the beast. I would be lying if I told you I was never a part of the matrix, because I was. Fuck. Obviously. But I was always in tune. But I was still trapped in the matrix because everybody around me was. So I didn't even know. I didn't understand. I knew that what I saw was different, but I didn't really understand the full picture. It's a process.